Greetings to those watching this video. My name is Spencer Davis, Oxford Class of 2010, Emory Class of 2012, and a recent product of Emory University's Education Studies undergrad department. If you're watching this, you probably already know that the DES is one of the handful of departments at Emory currently under threat of dissolution. I'm a member of a movement that is known as Emory Cuts, which is kind of a misnomer because we're not for the cuts, we're against them. I just wanted to talk to you a little about the importance of liberal arts, especially at a school like Emory. To make my case, I'm going to call upon the very arguments that I was taught in my liberal arts education. Let's look back at education in the U.S. and what it used to be. Education in this country started as an unregulated and largely religious endeavor put in place by the church to better the morals of their countrymen. Pedagogies were simplistic and rigid. Teachers were strict and information-based, and the only books that were taught were the primers and the Bible. Later on, small-town schools took to having teachers who were mostly roving vagabonds, and the profession became seen as a catch-all for people who society deemed were only good enough to teach. Unregulated, information-driven, a step forward but not really a step up, and let's not forget that schooling was far from universal at that point. The concept of public education came later, largely as a result of the freeing of African Americans who quickly turned to education as a way to achieve equality and power. They were so successful that equivalent schools for white Southerners had to be opened just so that their children could keep up. These schools were a little better regulated, and now we start moving into the direction of power-centric education. Education as empowerment. It started for African Americans, but quickly it evolved to encompass all children. It wasn't until John Dewey's time that the idea of a child-centered liberal arts approach really started to be appreciated, and after that there was a flurry of advancement in pedagogy and practice and policy that led us eventually to what we know as the public schools of our childhood. Open to all, these schools strove to indoctrinate and to inform, but mostly to socialize and to give a basis from which each child could have a chance to succeed in the real world. Though debatably unsuccessful, the message was clear. Success was the goal, and to be successful, a child needed more than reading, writing, and arithmetic. Classes were added for the times: foreign languages, language arts, art, music, and more. New activities were added such as yearbook and newspaper and debate team, culminating in student-driven clubs and student government, and a real student hand in their schools, as a way to prepare them for the hand that they would have in their world. As time passed, information and enculturation were no longer enough to produce power. In essence, power itself started to be taught, however indirectly. Today we live in an age of information and international cooperation and competition, where how you got your information and what you do with it is arguably more important than what the information is. Because of incredible inventions like the massive public library or even public school libraries, and of course the internet, we are now an application-based society. Our very minds have changed in the blink of an eye to adjust to new technologies and social interactions. The internet and sites on it have developed their own cultures, each with rules and norms and rituals. Books have been written about the complexities of Wikipedia or the rippling effects of online news sources. Papers have been published about the nature of chat rooms and the power that they have over psychology in places like Japan and Russia. With the click of a button, I can give a succinct answer to any question you ask, and the only thing separating me from an expert would be a lack of understanding, a deficit of experience, and the inability to do anything more with that information. It is this understanding, experience, and application that are gradually becoming the threefold goal of American colleges. For without these aspects of knowledge, information, so oversaturated as it is, means nothing. Why do I bring all this up, you might be wondering? I bring it up because that's what liberal arts means to me. It is the ultimate form of the understanding, experience, and application-based society that we have striven so hard to become and maintain. A liberal arts program teaches skills that are important, even necessary, for survival and purpose and happiness in this new world. It teaches choice and well-roundedness and decision-making. It teaches social responsibility and understanding of oneself and others. In my time at Emory, I was exposed to a fair depth of anthropology, sociology, psychology, biology, Japanese language and culture, literature, all of which I just called upon to make the arguments that I just posed to you. But this is just one experience. What if I wasn't dedicated to the betterment of education and learning through understanding culture, the individual, and the mind? What if instead I found my passion in the transmission of truth through the written page for a newly informed and empowered populace, or the creation of beauty by the stroke of a brush such that the textbooks of the future would emblazon my work on their covers, or the maintenance of health in this nation in a time when, for one of the very few instances in human history, the biggest killer of men and women is our own bad habits and sedentary lifestyle. Liberal arts is the power to comprehend the breadth and depth of issues that one discipline alone cannot hope to understand. It is the privilege to know enough to make a difference in whatever way you choose. And frankly, it's why I chose Emory in the first place.